everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. Gosh, I'm a minute or so late. I don't know what happened. You know, whenever you try and rush, something always goes wrong. And tonight it was technology. All sorts of things were not working for me. And I've just realized that it's a sketch challenge and I forgot to bring the sketch with me. So I will have to grab that off the printer. So I see Betty and Monica on already. So welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. And as I said, it's a sketch challenge night. So every Tuesday night at 6:30 Pacific, I come on with a sketch challenge for you. And hopefully you will make a card or a project using this sketch. Now, it will go live on Facebook and Instagram in about half an hour. So you'll be able to download or get the image. Hey, Dawn, welcome. Hey, Tim. So you'll be able to get that image off of social media in about half an hour's time if you miss any of the measurements. So let me just grab the sketch off the printer. I'm pretty sure I printed it out earlier today and we can get started. Yes, I did. Whew. Okay. There we go. All right. So happy Valentine's Day. Yes. Who made Valentine's today? I made a little bag for my husband and filled it with chocolate. He brought me a lovely rose home that I can plant in the garden. So yeah, it was kind of, it was a quiet day. We don't do much, but at least we kind of did celebrate. So anybody else get some Valentines or send some Valentines? Hey, Deborah, welcome. Okay, so let me move things out of the way and show you tonight's sketch. So what I like about this sketch is there's all sorts, hey, Lynette, of things you can do with it. So I am going to do some embossing, using embossing folder on the top, and then use designer series paper. You could use different pieces of designer series paper. You could create your own designer series paper. Lots of things that you can do with this sketch. So 2 pieces. So your card base is 5.5 by 8.5. Layer 1 and 2 are 2 inches by 5 1/4. They'll butt up against each other. Layer 3, I've got an oval. Really, it's whatever shape you want. And it's about 2 inches by 2.5. And then a sentiment that's about 3/4 by 1 1/4. Now, I always say it's really up to you what you want to do with your sentiment. You can make it bigger or smaller, whatever fits for yours. Mine's a fairly small sentiment, so that's why it's that. How's my wrist? Well, I'm sporting a new brace. So the splint is off. It is healing. It's still sore. It's been in a brace or in a splint for so long that I no longer have I can't flex my wrist on my left wrist. So that's a bit painful. But it's in this brace for a couple of weeks and then I see the doctor again and hopefully I can start physio. So it is improving, thankfully. No sign yet of having to see an orthopedic surgeon. Fingers crossed that won't happen. Okay, so that's the sketch. If you missed any of those measurements, again, grab it off of social media. So here's what I'm using. I've had my eye on this bundle. This is a bundle, not a suite, just the stamp set and dies. Since I saw it in the catalog, I am a sucker for birds' nests and birds, and I just love. Can you see how detailed that bird's nest is? It's just so pretty. And I love these sentiments. It's kind of interesting font, I think. So it's called Nested Friends, and it comes with the stamp set, which is a rubber stamp set, and it comes with dies. So you have the die that will cut out this amazing bird's nest somehow like that. This cuts out the branch, and of course this cuts out the bird. Then you also have I'm going to use these 2 dies that will cut out more of just a die cut and embossed nest. We're going to use that. You've got 1 to cut out 3 little eggs for the nest, and then a whole bunch of leaves if you want to go crazy on these. I did one where I actually cut out all these leaves and then glued them on to the die cut nest. It looks really cool, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to keep it somewhat simple. I need these two. But I love this, this bundle. Now, it is what I'm using for Your Creativity Awaits. So the monthly kit this month is featuring this Nested Friends. So if you if you get the Your Creativity Awaits, this is the bundle it'll be based on. If you've never seen Your Creativity Awaits, it's my monthly club. Sorry, it's my monthly card kit. You get a make and take kit that includes 8 cards, 2 of 4 designs. It includes the stamp set and the PDF instructions, and of course the make and take kit. If you want the dies, you can add them on. Includes the embellishments and everything that you're going to need. You just provide the ink and adhesives. Okay, so I've got my piece of, this is Evening Evergreen, and I have scored it at 4 1/4. Deborah, oh, made Valentine's with you. Oh, that's so fun, Deborah, to make them with someone and give them away. That's really nice. So, okay, so this is scored at 4 1/4. This is the raised line. So we're going to fold into that raised line or into the mountain and give it a good burnish. Now I've cut 2 pieces, not that one, this one. So I've got a piece of basic white that is 2 inches by 5 1/4, and I've got a piece, this is the Soft Succulent Designer Series paper, and so I'm going to use this striped side. Now with this, I'm making a birthday card, and this, I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can make this seeable. Not really. This is the birthday. I can't remember what the other one is. There are 2 in the set. This one is the birthday embossing folder, so it's got happy birthday. So I'm going to emboss this piece. Now what I want to do is I want this happy birthday to be quite front and center. Hopefully it'll be seen. So I'm going to try and make sure that I get the happy birthday showing up. And again, I don't think you can see it, but I think you'll see it once I get it embossed. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and emboss. And platform 1. This is not a 3D embossing folder. This is a regular embossing folder. So I need platform 1, the embossing folder, and then platform 3. Now, the trick that they're telling us with the mini, if you've ever had an issue with the mini going through, is we used to tell you to stagger your plates. They're now suggesting that you form an E. So I've actually got my 2 plates, and then the embossing folder is about a 1/2 inch back. I have never had an issue with running my embossing folders through, but I know people have. So try this E formation. They also suggest that you stand up when you're running things through. So there's a few tips and tricks. All right. So there we go. There's the happy birthday that's going to be kind of at the top so that you can read this. So as I said, these 2 pieces are going to butt up against each other. So I'm just going to put them on. I like to use liquid glue when I'm using an embossing folder because it kind of gets into the nooks and crannies. And we'll put that. If you end up overlapping these, it's no big deal, but they should be cut enough or cut so that they can just butt up against each other. So Deborah, did your great nephew like making cards? Is he a crafter? It's always fun when they are. Okay, so there's mine. So like I said, there's lots of ways you can do this. You could use 2 different patterns of designer series paper. You could You could even just use one piece of basic white and do some stamping, or two, yeah, all sorts of ways. You can do some stamping and just kind of create it yourself. Okay, so now I want to take, I've got a piece, this is kind of just scraps of crumb cake, early espresso, and basic white. So I'm going to do this. Hopefully that's just will fit. So that's going to be kind of the outside. This is going to be the underside of the, oh, he does, that's fun, of the nest. And then the last thing before I'm going to stamp before I start die cutting, I'm going to stamp the bird in early espresso. I'm going to use my blends to color. And I know they suggest, let's make it go the right way. They suggest using tuxedo black. Now I might as well stamp my sentiment here while I've got my ink open. I know they suggest stamping in tuxedo black when you're using blends, but I find if you're not doing a ton of stamping or coloring, you can get away with using just a regular ink pad. I'm going to use a little bit of Post-it note tape to hold my bird in place. And then let's bring back our sheen. Find the plates. There they are. All right. So I'm probably going to have to do some of these. So we'll run this one through first to cut the bird out. Hello, welcome. Where in Alberta are you from? And I'm not sure your first name, but welcome. But where in Alberta you're coming from? Got other people from Alberta here. Got people from Australia. Not sure who else. Monica, I don't know where you're from actually. You might be from BC. I may have that wrong. You know, Betty's from Alberta and Lynette's from Alberta. All right, so there's my bird cut out and the sentiments. Now we can run this through. So this is the top part of the nest. And then this, I don't know if I can do these. Oh, we'll do them one at a time. This is where I have a little bit of problem still with my wrist. It's fairly weak. So running things through or turning knobs is definitely still bothers me. Northern part, oh, Grimshaw. Okay, I've heard of it. Never been there. I grew up in Alberta, but not north. I was in east central Alberta. Betty's from Calgary and Lynette's from Leduc. So got all parts of Alberta represented. All right, so there's that. Okay, so we got this, and let's get the, now this one takes a little bit of poking out all the bits. Now, if I was smart, I would have used an adhesive sheet underneath this, and I never think of that until I get live and realize, gee, an adhesive sheet would have made this glue on much easier, but we'll just use some liquid glue. Poke all the bits out. I don't know, I mean, necessarily what kind of bird this is. I sometimes have made it into kind of robin-like, but this nest reminds me of, I don't know if you have eagles where you are, but if you ever see an eagle's nest, they're very much where there's branches and stuff all sticking out of them. And so that kind of reminds me of that. This is not an eagle that I'm making. All right, so I'm just going to use a little bit of glue, trying not to get it all over, but I'm using my silicone mats, so if I do get it, it's not going to be on my grid paper. And just trying to get just little bits. The whole thing will not be glued down. If you want the whole thing glued down, definitely use adhesive sheets, but it does stick out. Let's get it going the right way. It does stick out over and above the rest of the nest, if you can see. So it's kind of overlaps part of it. You know, yes, I have tried the wax paper. I just don't have it handy, and I just find I can poke them out unless it's really a ton. I tend not to, but you're right. Wax paper will help to get all the bits out. I also find that if you run it through a couple of times, even 3 times back and forth, you will get most of the bits will just kind of fall out. All right, so we're going to use dimensionals on the back of the nest. Like that. So this is my oval. If you remember the sketch, there was this oval. So really it's a shape, whatever you want to use for your shape. So this is my nest. All right, and then we've got the bird. So I'm going to color the bird with crumb cake and early espresso, evening evergreen. So I'm going to go over the whole bird. Probably if I use the brush end, it would go faster. And then I'm going to use the light and just kind of go over his tail. Not fully, I'm just adding some color, and then I'll go back in with the light crumb cake. I'm not sure hey Darlene, welcome. I'm not sure who else said that they were late. Sorry they were late, but welcome. Came in through Facebook. If you're coming in through Facebook, don't forget to give Facebook permission, going to streamyard.com/Facebook and give it permission so I can actually see who's commenting. All right, I'm going back over that, kind of just blending out. Again, I don't know what kind of bird it is. I'm sure it's not really a bird. And now I've got the dark daffodil delight for his beak. There we go. Oops. Oh, thanks. I just had my nails done today. I thought they were kind of fun with purple. I'm not sure why I decided purple, but there they are. Okay, so we're going to just put the bird here in its nest. I'm not going to have any eggs in the nest for this one. And now, if you follow me, you know that I tend to fussy cut my sentiments out. If you want to use a die or a punch, absolutely you can, or just cut the piece that fits your sentiment. That works too. I tend to always just take my scissors and fussy cut my sentiments. We'll use dimensionals to pop that up. And just put that there. I could have put some linen thread or something on it, but I didn't. That, and somewhere, it's hard to believe I can get into such a mess in such a short period of time. So these are what I have left of my brushed metallic dots. So when you buy these, they come in 3 different colors. They come in copper, gold, and brass. And I kind of like the look of the brass ones because they're the kind of the same green tone as my card. So we're just going to put 3 of those on. I think I need to add some of these brush metallic dots to my wish list. these back in before I lose them all again. There we go. All right, and then the last thing is I have a piece of basic white cardstock cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to take and stamp the bird. Now, the bird kind of is that's pretty, there we go. So we'll just stamp the bird. I could stamp the branch too, but I'm not going to. The bird's kind of floating in air. I could put another sentiment on here, but I like to always, as long as I've got something stamped on the inside, I consider my card finished, and then I can just write a note inside for when I send this out to somebody. There we go. Okay. So if I bring my sketch back in, oh, what was the DSP? It is the, it's 2 inches by 4 1/4. No, sorry, 2 inches by 5 1/4. And it is the soft succulent from the designer series paper, the In Color designer series paper. So there you go. Pretty close to being what my sketch is. Again, you can use whatever shape you want. Where I've got the oval on my sketch, use whatever shape you want. All right, there we go. Thanks very much. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good week. I will be back on Thursday night with my technique live, trying to think the word, on Thursday night at 6:30 Pacific. So I hope you'll join me then. Don't forget, if you're interested in Your Creativity Awaits for March, it is based on this Nested Friends, and it's really pretty. I love this. I've been having all sorts of fun designing the cards for the kit, and I hope you'll love it too if you decide to join. Yeah, that embossing folder, it comes in two. I think the other one says congratulations on it, but they're the narrow ones that fit through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. Hope you have a great evening and hope you have a great rest of your Valentine's Day. Happy stamping. Bye.